So we got Mike Lilley from MLK9. They're based out of Tennessee. We're just going to talk some dogs today. So Mike, why don't you tell us, a little bit about yourself, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. So I started in dogs at a young age. My dad got me started in hunting dogs, game dogs, and cow dogs, and I knew that was what I wanted to be a part of, especially getting older and having my own dogs and not just having to take care of his. And then I got into law enforcement and really saw what dogs could do. And I worked my first dog with state law enforcement with Fish and Wildlife, and he was a game detection dog, tracking article dog, and I knew with that dog that there was so much more that he could do, and I wasn't even scratching the surface, nowhere near. And made a move to the sheriff's office, started working a dual purpose dog, and really got to see some modern training techniques, and my sheriff's office gave me the ability to start to work with the dogs and be hands-on, and eventually took over the unit, took over the training, and I retired from law enforcement, wanted to do dogs full-time and pet dogs, police dogs, and it's brought me to where I'm at now. And that's the Reader's Digest version, but to me it's all about dogs and the love of working them and getting them prepared for doing real work to help out communities and cops, and to me that's just a huge passion.
Awesome. So you said that you kind of got your start in your feet wet with working dogs, but a different type of working dogs, right? So hunting and cattle dogs. What would you do with those cattle dogs specifically? Like, how would you work cattle with them?
Oh yeah, yep. So they were, it's crazy. I looked at now where the Tahoes and police cars have heat alarms and ACs on and fans in the windows, and back then in South Florida, where I was raised, it's 100-degree weather, and these dogs are working from sun up to sundown, and they're marching miles and miles and miles a day, and so their main focus was helping gather cows and keeping them bunched tight in groups as you move to where you're going to be working them at, mostly cow pens or switching pastures, and then my biggest hands-on was hog dogs, and I grew up hog hunting, and we didn't. It was for working the dogs. It wasn't killing hogs. It was working dogs, and then finding and doing what they do naturally. And man, I ate, slept, breathed, and bled it, and I was hunting 7 nights a week, and that's where I had my big grasp whenever I got my first line of dogs and was doing my own thing, and had my driver's license, and that's just all I spent time doing. I wasn't hanging out with groups and partying. It was just working dogs. And so both notes of the cow dogs and the hog dogs, it was a big avenue and tunnel into getting into the dogs that I'm able to work with today.
Nice. Were there any parallels, or are there any parallels that you draw from those kinds of experience working dogs to working with a police dog?
For sure. And one of my big things is self-discovery and dogs learning on their own. And so much of training that we see, I think mistakes that are made is we think we know better, and we think we have to teach the dog, where the dogs I grew up working, they taught themselves. I mean, I didn't go find a hog and go drag it around the yard and they learned how to trail to it. They did it on their own. Older dogs taught the younger dogs, and genetics is what built it. We didn't know where the hogs were. They had to go find them. So yes, there's an essence of training a puppy and catching a young hog that's not going to hurt a dog, and teaching them how to be confident and how to work a hog when they do find one. But the part of them going out and hunting as a group of 1, 2, 3 dogs is they taught that to themselves. They learned it, and that was that's a big thing that I try to implement into the police dogs I work with, and even the pet dogs. It's just them learning how to figure things out on their own, and it just is so much more valuable to the animal when they do.